So, welcome back, my dear students. This is a new chapter about the fourth function of the management, the fourth function for management, which is control, the control function of the management. We said that the functions of the managerial functions are four: planning, organizing, leading, and controlling. We have four functions: planning, organizing, leading, and controlling. Those are the four functions. Okay. We talk about the planning, organizing, leading, and now we are going to talk about the controlling. So, controlling means simply, before we start to discuss it, it means simply that you have standards, you put standards or norms, then you observe the performance, then compare the performance to the standards or the actual performance to the standards, then to find out if there is deviation or there is no deviation. If there is deviation, you have to correct this deviation. If there is correction deviation, you have to correct it. So like this it goes. We put standards for the performance standard, then you measure the actual performance, then you compare in between the actual performance and the standards which you set before. Then you will check for correcting deviations. If there is any if you find any deviations, then you correct it. Example as example, if I tell my son, you have to come home before 9 p.m. This is the standard. Then he came while I was watching the TV. I looked at the watch. I found it 9:30. Then here I'm measuring the performance. He came late. I told him to come 9, but he came 9:30. So what? So he's late. So I have to correct the deviation. So there is deviation than the standards. The actual performance is different than the standards, because the actual performance he came 9:30, and the standards I told him to come by 9 o'clock. So in that case, we have to correct the deviation. Let's go for our chapter and see and make the screen and see today what we will have here about the control process. Control is the process of measuring performance and taking actions to ensure the desired result. The actions taken is to correct any deviation if it's found. Uh, okay, ensure that the right things are happening, and also we want to say that the purpose of the control is not to hold mistakes, no, but just to correct these mistakes. The purpose, again, I'm saying, the purpose of the control is not to hold mistakes on others. No, we are not towards just catch the mistakes on the people who are working with me. No, I'm just trying to correct these mistakes. I'm just seeing where these mistakes came from, and I'm trying to handle and figure it out and solve the problem. But I'm not just for holding the mistakes itself. Okay. Like you see here as example, we see that the whole process is planning, organizing, leading, and control, the four works. And this is the fourth managerial function. So we have planning, then we have organizing, what we planned, then we have leading, what we organized and what we planned, then we have to control what we planned. So it's the fourth. But by the way, they are all integrated, like they complete each other. They go in a circle, like all of them are very inseparable. But the basic of them is the planning, because this is the most important of them. Because if you plan right, you will organize right, you will control right, and you will lead right. So this is the point which we need to know. So it's one of the four basic managerial functions. I'm talking about the control. It's one of the four basic managerial functions. Okay. What about the types of control? We have two types. Free forwards. This is before you put the standards before work itself. It's a free forward. So you will put the standards before you start working. Okay. employed before a work activity begins. Okay, ensure that objectives are clear, everything is clear, proper directions, right resources are available, and focus on quality of the resources. So you put the standards before the actual work starts. This is very important. We call it feed forward control. Concurrent control, it happens like what? On the concurrent, it happens like on the production line, as example. On the production line, this is the concurrent work. How it works, how the concurrent will work. Actually, the concurrent will work like you take specimens or you'll take samples of the production while it is online, what's on the line of production, the production line is on processing. You take samples, check it, and see if it is based exactly identical to the standards or no. If it is not identical to the standards, then you have to return it back for correction. So this is called concurrent control. As example, watching while producing, this is concurrent control. Focus on what happens during work process. Monitoring going operations can reduce the waste always because you're catching or holding the mistakes before it goes worse. So this is the concurrent control. So concurrent is during process. The third one is the feedback control. Feedback control is after process. So take place after work is completed, like here it is. Focus on quality of end results and provide useful information for improving future operations. So those are the main aspects of the feedback control. Like we see here as example, this example is giving us the idea of the feed forward and the relationship between them. The feed forward is before the work, concurrent is while working, and feedback controls after the work is done. Like you see here, there are three basic. Okay. Also, we have another um, classification for the control into internal and external control. Those are another two things or two aspects of the control itself. Internal and external control. What about the internal control? Allows motivated individuals and groups to exercise self-discipline in fulfilling expectations. So the internal in me, I have a good conscience. I'm a very sincere and loyal person. I have a very good conscience which make me account myself. Accountability for me will start from me, from inside my heart. I know what I'm doing. I'm just trying to do the best. I will punish myself if I did something wrong. No one like outside will punish me. I don't need anyone from outside to control me. I can control what I'm doing. The external control is the opposite because occurs through personal supervision. Someone must supervise you. And we talked about this point before, if you remember, when we talk about Douglas McGregor, X and Y. We said X is a person who does not want to work. He wants to be monitored or controlled by other people. He is not self-directed. He is others directed by other people and like to be dominated. But Y the opposite? Y is like this one, external, internal control. Y means uh, he has a conscious inside him and he can control himself by himself. He does not need internal. I'm talking about the internal. He does not need anyone to control him. Uh, what about the bureaucratic control? Influences behavior through authority and policies and procedures. And we talk about Max Weber model. And we said it was based on the bureaucracy uh, or the red tape. Clan control. This one, clan control, influences behavioral through norms and expectations set by the organization culture. So this norm is done by the clan. When we talk about the clan, then we will talk about the culture. Culture is inseparable with clan. They always come as two idioms, as two terminologies. They come with each other. So it comes, clan means like what you ought to do, what you ought to do, and what you ought not to do. But this is due to your the way you are raised up, your values, attitudes, behave. All this will configure the clan control. Market control influence behavior through markets competition, and this is another one of the control. So the steps of the control process is what? Like we said, first you will put the standards. Second, you will measure the actual performance. Third, you will check the you will compare the results with the actual with the standards, the results or the actual performance with the standards. Number four, you will take the corrective actions. You will take the steps to correct the mistake. Like I told you before, we are not doing the control just to hold on the mistakes of others. The purpose of the control is not to hold mistakes on other people, but rather it's just to fix these problems and to correct it before time is gone. So I'm there to correct the mistakes. If I have an employer at my work, employee, and I'm the boss, I shouldn't, if he come late once or twice, I shouldn't say, hey, he came late. And I think I hold on him a great thing. I did a good job. No, no. This is it does not work like this. The reason for the control is not holding mistakes on others, but rather how to correct these mistakes. Then I will tell him, come in here, please. Why you are late today? Or why you are late tomorrow? Then I will check out the reasons why he's late. And we'll try to correct this together so that he will come in time next times. So the corrective actions is the main purpose of the control, not holding the mistakes on others. And this is, we can make it here in a figure like that's fine. If you want to make establish performance, establish standards, the, measure the performance, then compare the performance with the standards, then take the corrective actions. Uh, the standards with the quantity and the quality and the efforts of the people must be measured accurately in very accurate way. Steps in control, measuring actual performance, this is what we are talking, and check out for significant differences. If my son, as example, I told him to come by 9 o'clock and he came 1 minute after 9, that's okay. But if there's significant difference, not a slightly bit difference, that can you can pass it because we have permitted ranges up and down. So we can. It's not acute exactly, but is preferred to be exactly. It's preferred to that he will come by 9 o'clock in time. If you go outside and he will come back, and I told him, don't be late than 9, this is my son, then he should come by 9. If he's late than 9, if it's 9, 1 minute after 9, that's fine. It's okay. But if he come 11 or 12 here, what we are talking about is comparing to get the correct, to take the corrective actions. So we're still in the controlling, like comparing results with objectives and the standards, and it must be historical comparison, relative comparison, and engineering comparison. So take the problem, the corrective action, and try always to take the corrective action, not to hold the mistakes on others, like I'm telling you. Uh, we have here hot stove rules of employee discipline. The discipline, how to be a very punctual person. To be effective, reprimand should be immediate, directed towards action, be consistently applied, be informative, occur in supportive setting, support realistic rules. I'm talking here about when you will take the corrective actions. So this will help you be immediate, direct towards action, not personality. So you don't talk to him like it's your fault, it's your mistake. No, the mistake, then I will focus on the mistake itself. Applied consistently. Be informative to tell him what are the mistakes and how to correct the mistakes. Be supporting. So you will tell him like to talk to him like a friend, not like a boss. Support a realistic rules. Always talk about that this should be the best the best solution for the problem. Also, I came, I think, to an end. Factor used to develop score goals and measures, financial performance, customer satisfaction, internal process, and innovation and learning. And I came to the end of this chapter. Thank you so much for listening. We talked today about the control. We talk about steps of control, which are setting the standards, then measuring performance, then comparing the performance, the actual performance with the standards, then checking if there is deviation, then correcting the deviation. And we talk about three kinds of control systems. And we said also about the steps, how they would be done. So please read or watch this video once again or twice so that you will know the steps of control. And we talk, finally, we said that the control process is not to hold mistakes on others, not to hold the mistakes on the people, but just, or the workers, you don't try to hold the mistakes, you just try to correct these mistakes. And correcting these mistakes will be on the spot with a good personality, with good attitudes, with focus on the mistakes, not on the person, and so that there will be no harm. Shall see you in the next video. Please subscribe or like if you wish, if this video you like this video. And thank you so much and wait for me for more new videos. Thank you so much. Have a good night. Thank you. Bye bye.